Priska, Guy, Trent, and Maddox are shown at the beginning of the movie, as they are getting ready to embark on a journey. While they are on a tropical vacation on a beautiful island, it would appear that the island is perfect. Every member of the family is cordially invited. They are welcomed by the manager of the resort, and then, during the visitors' welcome party, they are offered complimentary beverages. Idlib, a local guy who seems to know quite a bit, is another character that Trent meets. On the island, there is a mystery waiting to be solved. Late in the evening, it comes to our attention that the family is in a miserable condition. Since Guy and Priska have decided to end their marriage, this trip will be the last one that the entire family takes together. On the other hand, Priska has been dealing with a physical condition in her body for a considerable amount of time. The manager of the resort made contact with the family during breakfast and suggested that they spend the day at a secluded beach located on the opposite side of the island from the conservation area to get away from the crowds. Patricia, a middle-aged woman, passes out and starts having a seizure right after. Jaren is her partner, who is a nurse. Charles, who appears to be a physician, is the one who rushes to help her. When we finally reach the main attraction of the beach, we see that it offers a picturesque vantage point. However, it is surrounded by a high stone wall that gives off a sinister vibe. They have a chance encounter with Sedan, a mysterious tourist who is also a well-known rapper. Priska tells Maddox and Trent to ignore the rusted knives and abandoned toys that they find while they are playing, and she encourages them to leave the area. Devastation ensues during the trip as a result of the discovery of a body that had been drowned. The body turns out to be that of Sedan's girlfriend, who had disappeared after going swimming before the rest of the party arrived. The event causes the group to be perplexed, and Charles charges that Sedan is responsible for the death of his lover. As a result of his persistent nose bleeding, he is being accused of a crime. A few seconds later, Jaren and Patricia arrived at the beach, and the group briefed them on the current situation. The group is adamant that they must get back to the resort as quickly as they can. During his exploration of the cave, Jaren ends up becoming disoriented and is later knocked unconscious. After that, Charles' mother suddenly stops breathing and passes away for reasons that are not immediately clear. Priska approaches Charles, informs him that there is an issue with her children, and begs him to examine them. Within a few short hours, it appears as though Trent, Maddox, and Kara have all experienced significant aging. Charles gives chase to Sedan as the latter runs away from him. The group has come to the conclusion that there is no way out of the tunnel. The doctor randomly stabs Sedan with the knife, but the cut heals itself almost immediately through some sort of miracle. Jaren advises them to swim against the tides until they reach another shore, but no one is willing to put their lives in jeopardy by following his advice. The group is informed by Priska and Guy that Priska is experiencing the development of a benign tumor in her stomach. Patricia is of the opinion that the children are disproportionately large because of how they react to infections. As a direct consequence of this, Charles has decided to perform surgery on her in an effort to save her life. The group remembers that a wound will recover from its injuries very quickly. Priska is brought back to consciousness after the removal of the tumor that was located in her stomach after a period of time. The next thing that happens is that Sedan examines the body of his girlfriend, only to find that it has completely decomposed in 3 hours, which is extremely unusual for such a short period of time. Jaren explains further that their hair and nails aren't growing as quickly because the beach affects their living cells, whereas the cells that make up their hair and nails are dead. In addition, Sedan demonstrates that the same amount of time spent at the beach is equivalent to having 2 years of life experience. Everyone will have aged more than 50 years in just one day as a direct consequence of this. Another terrible event happens when Trent and Kara are having fun in the tent together, and it leads to Kara giving birth to her child too soon. As Charles' schizophrenia worsens, he is eventually driven to brutally murder Sedan, which makes the situation even more dire. Guy then comes to the realization that they were all invited to the beach on purpose for the same reason, which is that they all share medical records in common. After some time has passed, Maddox comes across the lifeless body of Jaren, who appears to have passed away as a result of drowning. Kara, on the other hand, scales the massive stone wall in the hopes of discovering answers on the other side. However, she passes out and falls to her death. Patricia has epilepsy and dies instantly as the dreadful situation unfolds. Priska and Guy start to feel the physical effects of the beach, with Priska struggling to hear conversations out of her left ear and Guy losing his sight. Crystal also perishes due to hypocalcemia. Among the confusion of the group attempting to flee the beach, Maddox and Trent discover a notepad from the last traveler. Trent also notices a camera at the mountain's peak, implying that they are constantly being watched. Charles loses his mind and attacks Priska and Guy, but Priska picks up the rusty dagger and stabs Charles, causing him to die of hepatitis. So far, Priska, Guy, Trent, and Maddox are the only survivors. As the night comes to a close, an elderly Guy and Priska apologize before taking their last breath. Trent discovers the next day, with only the now adult Maddox and Trent, that Idlib left a message that he had not seen. The statement implies the existence of an underwater coral corridor. They start swimming through the coral in the hopes that it will provide them with a way to get away from the beach without passing out. Unfortunately, Maddox's clothing gets caught in coral, and they have to struggle to get out of the water because of it. An employee of the resort who was watching them declares that everyone in the group has perished once they do not reappear from the water. It was discovered that a research team from Warren and Warren Pharmaceutical was using the resort as a location to conduct clinical studies of new medical products, using visitors with medical issues as unwitting test subjects. The beach itself has an accelerated aging effect on the people who visit it. In just one day, the researchers were able to finish testing the effects of medications over a lifetime. Patricia, who has suffered from debilitating seizures throughout her entire life, was able to go approximately 8 hours and 17 minutes without having an epileptic episode while she was at the beach. This is equivalent to almost 16 and a half years of normal life. After surviving a swim underwater, Trent and Maddox bring the attention of the authorities to the resort by using the journal to prove that other guests have gone missing. The revelation that the resort was actually a front for the Warren and Warren Pharmaceutical Company serves as the film's biggest twist at the very end. Customers with physical medical conditions have been receiving drinks that are, in essence, experimental medications from a team of researchers that is led by the hotel manager. These drinks have been served to customers at the hotel because of their illnesses. Priska, Charles, Patricia, and Sedan were chosen to participate in the study so that the researchers could monitor their progress and see how the treatments affected them over time while they lazed around on the beach. The experiments, on their own, are a relatively recent development. On the other hand, in the movie Trial 73, a group of people are taken to the beach, given the one-of-a-kind effect that the beach has on the aging process. This is the 73rd time that the tests have been run. This is equivalent to slightly more than 2 months.